Robinson is a very famous singer and songwriter.
Known as the King of Motown, Smokey Robinson played an extremely important role in the success of Motown.
Motown was the first music company owned by an African American.
Motown had one of the most impressive lineups of singers in the history of pop music. And in 1964, it became the largest and the most successful independent music company in the United States. Smokey Robinson and the Miracles, The Temptations, Diana Ross and the Supremes, Stevie Wonder, The Four Tops, Marvin Gaye, Michael Jackson, and the Jackson 5 were all part of that legendary Motown lineup.
William Smokey Robinson Jr. was born on February 19, 1940 in Detroit, Michigan.
When he was 6 years old, his Uncle Clyde gave him the nickname Smokey because he was a light-skinned boy and his uncle did not want him to ever forget that he was black. Also, at the age of 6, Smokey Robinson wrote and sang his first song, Good Night, Little Children, in a school play. When he was just 10 years old, his mom died and he moved in with his older sister. There were 11 children living in his sister's house and he had to share a bed with 2 other kids.
When Smokey Robinson was 15 years old, he formed a singing group called the Five Chimes, which was later renamed the Miracles.
After finishing high school, he met the creator of Motown, Berry Gordy. Gordy helped Smokey Robinson pursue his musical career. Smokey Robinson and the Miracles were one of the first musical groups to work for Motown. In 1960, the Smokey Robinson and the Miracles song Shop Around became the first #1 hit for Motown.
In 1961, Smokey Robinson had become the vice president of Motown.
Besides creating hits for his own group, The Miracles, Smokey Robinson wrote and produced songs for other Motown singers. He was the Temptations' main songwriter and producer from 1963 to 1966. He wrote the very popular song My Girl for the Temptations. Smokey Robinson also wrote for the Four Tops, the Marvelettes, Mary Wells, Marvin Gaye, and Diana Ross and the Supremes.
While with the Miracles, Smokey Robinson scored 27 hits for Motown between 1960 and 1971.
In 1972, Smokey Robinson stopped singing with the Miracles so that he could spend more time with his family. This gave him the chance to focus on his duties as the vice president of Motown. In 1973, Smokey Robinson started singing again, but this time as a solo artist. When we found out the King of Motown, Smokey Robinson, was going to perform in a concert at the Kravis Center in West Palm Beach, we made sure we were there so we could interview him.
Let's take a look at our interview with the legend Smokey Robinson.
We're here at the Kravis Center to interview Motown legend
Smokey Robinson.
Here's his limo. Now let's go get him.
Oh, hey. This is KEC Point legend Damon Weaver.
What are you doing here?
I'll talk to you later. Well, I'm supposed to be at a meeting, but I'll do the camera for you guys.
Okay.
Let's go.
I'm here with Smokey Robinson.
Thank you for letting us interview Mr. Robinson.
Oh, it's my pleasure. I'm glad you guys are here. Okay. What's your names?
I'm Stafford Everett.
And I'm Anthony Boyd.
Okay.
What was your childhood like?
My childhood was like fun. I had a really good time. I grew up in the hood in Detroit. You know, we had a lot of fun. We played outside and did a lot of outside activities that I don't see kids doing anymore. But you know, we had a really good time growing up.
How did you deal with your mother's death at the age of 10 years old?
My world stopped. It was like the end of the world for me, you know, because my mom was my person. So it was really devastating. It was a heavy blow to me when I was 10 years old to think that I wasn't going to have my mom anymore. But you know, at 10 years old, you kind of, you know, you go on, and my oldest sister came back to live in our house, and she raised me. So my oldest sister was like my mom also.
Is it true that Diana Ross was your next door neighbor when you were growing up?
Diana Ross lived 4 doors down the street from me, on a street called Belmont in Detroit. And I've known Diana Ross since she was probably about 9 years old. Yeah, she grew up same street.
Did you play with her?
Well, I didn't actually play with her. I was a little older than her. I didn't actually play with her, but she was at my house all the time because one of my nieces was her really good friend. And she was at our house all the time playing, or else my niece was at her house and what have you. But I saw her all the time.
Oh. Who was your favorite singer when you were growing up?
When I was growing up, my favorite singer was a guy named Jackie Wilson. Now, I don't know if you ever even heard of Jackie Wilson, but Jackie Wilson was the #1 singer in my world at that time. He was just a great singer. He was a great showman, and I absolutely loved Jackie Wilson.
Is it true in 1959 you encouraged Berry Gordy to borrow $800 from his family to create Motown?
No, it's not true. No, that's not true. Berry Gordy had a dream to start his own record label. He used to own a record store in Detroit. So he had a dream to start his own label. And when I first met him, I was like 16 years old, and I had just graduated from high school, and I had a bunch of songs that I had written. And Berry Gordy wrote all the hit songs for Jackie Wilson, the guy I was telling you about. So I knew who he was because I had all of Jackie Wilson's records. And I would look on the records to see who wrote the songs. So I knew who he was when I met him. He hadn't started Motown yet, but he started to produce records on The Miracles and Me and some other acts that he had. And eventually he just decided that he was going to start his own record company. So he borrowed $800 from his family and started the record company. I did not encourage him to do that. That was his dream.
What was it like during those early days when Motown was getting started?
It was wonderful. The early days of Motown getting started was absolutely wonderful. There was just a lot of energy, a lot of young people there making a lot of music, and we were having a good time.
When you were only 6 years old and you had written many great songs for yourself and the Miracles, the Temptations, Marvin Gaye, and many other great groups and singers. How did you become so great at writing songs?
Well, first of all, thank you for that. But when I first met Berry Gordy, I told you, I had a loose leaf notebook of about 100 songs in there from school. I started writing songs when I was about 6 years old, but I would keep them. And I would, I had a whole book full of them. And when I met him, he taught me how to write songs professionally. I mean, because I could always rhyme stuff, and my songs would be all rhymed up really good, but I would have 5 songs in one song, So he taught me to make a song, like a short book, short story, short movie, that had a beginning and a middle and an ending that tied in together, and that people could get something from. So he was very instrumental in teaching me how to write songs professionally.
How do you write a song?
When I write a song, that's my goal. I want to write a song. And what I mean by that is that a lot of people write songs that they think are going to be a hit record, and they want to have a hit record and all that. I do too. But first of all, I want to have a song. I want to have a song because if I have a song that means something, it's going to mean something from now on. And people way, way, way in the future can hear that song and sing it or record it or whatever. So I always keep that thought in mind. Let me write a real song.
Was it hard to let singers sing a great song that you wrote?
No, it really wasn't, man, because I enjoyed the fact that I had something positive to do with their careers and with their lives. And we were all at Motown together growing up there, and we were all like brothers and sisters. And so if I could do something positive for their career and write them a hit song, it made me very happy.
Oh, what is your favorite song that you wrote?
I have no favorite song that I wrote. I love songs. I have no favorite song in the whole world. I appreciate a good song, and if I could tell you what my favorite song was, it would probably be a song I didn't even write, because I just love songs. I can tell you what my favorite album is. Now, have you ever heard of Marvin Gaye? Okay. Well, Marvin Gaye made my favorite album of all times, What's Going On. So that's my favorite album of all the albums that I've ever heard in my life.
What What is your favorite song that you sing?
I don't have a favorite song that I sing. When we do the concerts every night, we play for about 2.5, 3 hours, whatever it is, and I enjoy singing all of them.
Besides being a singer and a songwriter for Motown, you are also a producer. What does a producer do?
A producer gathers material for an artist, and it doesn't necessarily have to be a song that the producer wrote. You get a good song for an artist, and you take the artist into the studio, and you're in charge of what comes out of that studio. You're in charge of the musicians, the singers, everybody that's in that studio at that time. You're in charge of them, and you're trying to get everybody to do the best that they can so you can get the best product. So that's what a producer does. A producer goes in and tries to produce the best record possible with the people and the instruments that he has available to him.